Serial realizes police found his body collection.
Totally cooperating. Just relax. Not doing
What?
anything. Not cooperating. Sir, I will be very cooperative. Let's try that, please.
That's not you on the 27th. Food Line parking lot, Traveler's Rest.
I don't think so.
Look, man.
Where's that? I don't know where that is.
Yes, you do.
It's not making sense. So you're the last person to be in a vehicle you wiped out of a lady that's missing.
That sounds really up.
28 years ago, this man kidnapped a woman and was
28 years ago.
sentenced to 30 years in prison for it. 3 decades later, 80-year-old Edna Suttles is spotted picking him up in a parking.
Oh my. 28 years ago, he did something to somebody. I don't know who they had said. He gets out. The day he gets out, he's back on the job.
Lot. This would be the last time Edna was ever seen alive. Days later, detectives traced Edna's movement and discovered CCTV footage of the same man driving her car.
She's missing right
Oh
now.
nah.
Yes, Dan, where is Edna?
I don't have a clue.
But that's when police
Damn, we
found
got-
out
Damn, we got CCTV footage of her
Edna
picking you up.
wasn't the only victim.
If you tell them to turn that off, I can talk to you a little more freely.
What? Where were all these
Sometime
evidence
around
pictures?
9 a.m. on August 27th, 80-year-old Edna leaves her home
20
in
this
Travelers
year?
Rest to look after a friend. Hours later,
Gotta be this year.
911 dispatchers receive a concerning call.
This ain't the big 2024.
A sitter was supposed to show up to be with my mom today. Her name is Edna Subtle, and she didn't show up. This is not like her. She shows up like clockwork. So something's wrong.
But this call was only the beginning of a long chain of mysteries. As officers arrived at Edna Suttle's home for a welfare check based on these reports, they received no response. There were no signs of a break-in, and Edna was nowhere to be seen.
House is
However, when
locked.
police asked Edna's son, he pointed out that $50,000 worth of jewelry was missing from the home. More importantly, though, her car was missing too.
$50,000 and a car is missing.
If the cops could find that, they might be able to figure out where she had gone. This meant that finding Edna's vehicle would be the most instrumental step in this investigation, as it would give a clue about her last known whereabouts. Immediately, a hunt for Edna's car began, and 6 days later, it was found abandoned in the parking lot of a hotel in Travelers Rest. This was odd,
Now
as
they're finna
Edna
get
lived
the-
close by and didn't need to stay at a hotel.
They're
A
finna get
check
the
with the
hotels.
staff also revealed that no one under the name
Footage.
of Edna was
They got
staying there.
cams.
So to get to the bottom of this mystery, the cops decided to try and trace back Edna's movement using CCTV cameras starting from
they
her
get in the
home.
cams.
At 9:30
Oh, they
a.m.,
got- she
a
got cams
camera
at her
a
house?
nearby pawn shop captures Edna leaving her home and driving towards a local Food Lion grocery store. 9 minutes later, Edna arrives at the store to pick something up. A man approaches the vehicle with 2 bags in his hand and sits alongside Edna, who then drives off back to her home. 4 hours later, at 1:43 p.m., Edna's car leaves her home again and arrives at the same Food Lion once more. But this time, the person exiting the driver's seat isn't Edna at all. It's the same old white
Yeah, you can tell
exiting the driver's
if they were coming out the other seat, they would have walked either this way. They would have walked here, and you would have probably seen them through this windshield. You would have seen a couple pixels. They would have walked around here. You walked through the middle of the cars.
seat isn't Edna at all. It's the same old white man she picked up earlier, who immediately moves to his car and parks it next to Edna's. He then drags something out of her car, placing it into his. Initially, it was difficult to identify what the man moved from the Jeep to the Chevrolet, but after a frame-by-frame analysis, it wasn't a question of what was moved, but who. Because in a chilling discovery, officers would realize the footage showed the unmistakable golden hair of Edna Suttles. 4 minutes later, at 1:47 p.m., the man
Well, if it showed her golden hair, I don't think it's a question of who.
drives Edna's car into the hotel's parking lot and parks it in the same spot that the
I
detectives
may not
found
be
the
a- I
vehicle
may not
in.
be a
He
detective.
exits and begins wiping down the door and seats, trying to
But-
get rid of any evidence of his presence. By
1 and 1
2:14
makes 2 to
p.m.,
me.
the man returns to his vehicle at Food Lion and drives off, marking the last that was seen of Edna.
He returned to the store
and
like
the
4
man.
times.
The most crucial part of this investigation is to now figure out who exactly the man in the video is. But due to the grainy footage and his distance from most cameras, this proved to be difficult.
That footage
and
is
the
terrible.
investigation
It was a
seemed
total of like
it would come to a
100 pixels
standstill.
on the screen.
But detectives had an idea. Since the man exited the
144
store with
pixels.
bags in his hand, a purchase was made. And this realization would be the most crucial breakthrough in the case. Immediately, officers began retrieving footage from inside the store, and when they reviewed it, they came to a harrowing realization. This
That's comp, bro. Detectives are comp. They said, yo, this footage is too grainy. Let's go back or backtrack. They remembered they seen him walking out the store with their bags. They're like, hold up. Let me go check the purchase history. See who was on the cameras at this time.
was Daniel Prince, a man who only 24 years prior to this got put in a federal prison for kidnapping. 24 years prior to this incident, in 1997, Daniel was responsible for the kidnapping of a woman in Michigan. He had her tied up, shackled her hands, and it was by sheer luck that she managed to free herself before escaping. Even
What?
though he was sentenced to a maximum of 30 years for this crime, he was released by 2009.
He was
on
released in
parole.
09.
But the worst was yet to come. Daniel began working as a handyman for predominantly elderly single ladies, a demographic that not only matched
Whoa.
his previous victim, but also that of Edna's. For officers, the realization now begins to settle in. They have a kidnapper on the run, and there might be a chance that he has kept Edna alive. Not knowing where she is, they had to act fast before this glimmer of hope dimmed. Even with this disturbing past, detectives didn't have enough evidence
Was
to
that
press
him back
strong
then?
charges for kidnapping or murder. However, they had established probable cause for grand larceny involving Edna's Jeep. A warrant to arrest Prince and search his property was granted, and officers were quickly dispatched to Prince's residence to take him into custody.
Totally cooperating. Just relax. Not doing anything. Not cooperating. All right, let's go. Stand up on your feet. Right there. Yeah. Sir, I will be very cooperative.
Despite the number of heavily armed officers that just descended on Prince's property, he remained noticeably calm and composed, as if he had a plan to escape this predicament. The following footage was analyzed by our in-house criminal research specialist and retired detective to shed some light on key techniques and strategies used during the questioning. When he is brought into the interrogation room, the detectives start with a relaxed,
I think this
friendly
was around
conversation,
COVID time.
a
He got a
tactic
mask on.
used to put suspects at ease. They don't want him to know they've caught him on camera just yet.
What do you do now?
2021.
I do a lot of home remodeling,
Okay.
home repairs. I lay a lot of tile, and I got a customer base that has me doing stuff.
Okay, so why Boston, North Carolina, come all the way down from, say, Michigan or Wisconsin?
Okay, here, this is really easy. I'm originally from the east side of the state of Michigan,
Okay.
but I was in prison in Michigan for a while, and when I paroled,
Uh-huh.
I paroled to the west side of the state.
Okay. What'd you get locked up for? Because you said you got paroled.
I was locked up for a kidnapping charge,
Okay.
and I did 13 and a half years for that.
Oh, wow.
I did 1.5 years for a false statement on a vehicle title. You know, when they're not sure if they're
False
going to make
statement on a
something,
vehicle
they
title.
want something to hold you with. So the false statement, that's all that was. The kidnapping, I was doing some bad shit that I shouldn't have been doing,
Fair enough.
but I shouldn't have gotten kidnapping. But I
What? You know, if you move somebody unwillingly more than 10 feet, that's kidnapping.
was doing some bad shit. and I
What kind of
didn't
shit?
really-
What
I'm
shit
pretty
have you
sure.
gotten?
I really don't want to say.
We're just bullshitting, man.
No, huh?
We're just bullshitting.
Nothing when you're talking to two police detectives in a room. It's just bullshit. Okay, I've been through the system enough to know that.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say about that is I did my time. I made my first
Fair
parole,
enough.
and I haven't been in trouble since.
Hey, and that's great to know. You know, a lot of people, especially being what you've been through, they come out and they go right back to it.
Just because he's a convicted criminal doesn't mean he's involved in Edna's disappearance, but
Did
the
the
evidence
cop
the
just say-
detectives have paints a different picture altogether
What
for
was he? What did he buy at that store?
the hard-working reformed criminal he claimed to be.
I'll talk to you about August 27th, 2021 of this year.
What day of the week was that?
Oh, it was a Friday.
Okay.
Okay, so specifically the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
I think this
What,
is
2
2
weeks ago?
Friday.
Do you remember where
Yep,
you were at?
yep, 2 Fridays
Not
before this.
specifically.
Where do you think you were at?
I've been going all over the place. I've been back and forth to
He
Charlotte.
knows exactly
I've been
where he
down to
was
South
that day.
Carolina.
Like, where's your jobs in South Carolina taking you?
Actually, I was down to Travelers Rest, but I don't know if it was Friday or Thursday. I know I'd been there earlier that week.
But you don't remember which day specifically?
No, it was either Thursday or Friday.
What kind of job were you working on?
I wasn't.
You wasn't.
I wasn't. This lady had
Word.
talked to me several times. I'd been down to her house 2 or 3 times. We kind of got to be friends. This woman has so many damn problems, mostly her daughter. She would call me and have me come down there.
Okay.
She said she needed to have money at one point in time to help her daughter because her daughter was in jail. Then she needed money another time because she was hiring a private investigator. Because her son-in-law she talked to me all kinds of stuff about it. We got to be pretty good friends about stuff like
Okay.
that.
How'd you meet her initially?
Years ago,
Okay.
it was somebody giving me her name or number or my name and number.
Here, the detectives are analyzing his behavior and allowing Prince to dig a hole for himself that he's going to struggle to escape from. When they reveal they know the truth,
He was
he's
trying to
going
do
to try
something
and deny his
with
guilt,
her
even
or
when
something.
the evidence speaks for itself.
And
What you're telling us is
she didn't want to do it.
that's not you on the 27th?
He decided
Food Line parking lot, Travelers Rest?
it's going down.
I don't think so.
That's not you.
That's me. Where's that?
Food Line, August 27th, 2021, 9:23,
Okay.
32 seconds. Ringing a bell?
They got a date,
Yeah, I went down to Food Lion.
4K pictures,
Yeah,
So what are you doing down
times.
there that day?
She wanted me to look at some stuff at her house,
Okay.
and she picked me up at Food Lion because she wanted me with her.
Let's hear this cap right
And
here.
she was gonna go meet some guy for private investigator.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
tell us about
She wanted you with her to go meet a private investigator.
that.
If I'm going to meet a private investigator, it's supposed to be private. And I don't know you. You my architecture man. You come fix the floors or whatever. You say you do tiles.
She wanted me to meet her down there.
Okay.
She was nervous because she says, I'm not sure I trust this guy. And she knows I've been in the military. And she says, will you meet me? She wanted me to see if this guy was going to meet her where he was supposed to meet her.
Do you know where?
There was a hotel lobby that he had finally said, meet me at the hotel.
Okay.
She says, drive up there and see if he's there. And I drove up there, and things are starting to sound really squirrely to me.
This is a common deflective behavior. Prince is not only trying to deflect suspicion away from himself, he's trying to point suspicion directly at someone else. In this case, the private investigator. According to Prince, Edna wanted to meet the private investigator.
This man said, yeah man, I pulled up to the scene. Once I pulled up, I don't know what was going on, but something fell off. I had to get up on out of there myself. I ain't let her know, but yeah, bruh, something seemed a little off.
The day before she
That's
was
what you were
reported
saying.
missing, even though she didn't feel safe meeting him alone. Luckily, detectives have seen the whole thing on camera, and it completely contradicts everything Prince is saying.
What were you driving? I was driving a blue car.
Your wife's
We're
car,
driving
your
a
car?
blue
wife's
car.
So that's y'all coming down 25, you and her together?
It could be.
Okay, because that's their car. That's about 1345 on the 27th.
13:45. They were out at what, like
Yeah.
9:47,
Okay.
I think it was, or
Yeah,
something.
I'm not saying, yeah, I'm just
27?
saying that could be
Yeah,
your
it's a different angle. But I mean, we've watched this car.
Oh, they got angles.
Okay.
Here's y'all in the hotel parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah? Oh, look. There's y'all backing in.
Yeah.
And a couple of different copies of it. Backing in, backing in.
Yeah.
Oh, look. You get out.
Bro, he got a picture of like every single frame of this footage.
Nobody else gets out.
I told you that.
You're walking around
He got
the
a
car.
stack of pictures.
You wipe the entire car down.
Because I was worried.
You were worried. There's you walking across the parking lot in front of Little Caesars.
Mm-hmm.
And there's you getting back into your car and driving away.
Oh, she's with me.
Look, man.
You are a good dude. I honestly do believe that you screwed up years and years ago.
Prince seems visibly stunned by the amount of photographic evidence the detective is showing him, and even though it can't be
He just
refuted,
put down,
Prince
like, at
is going
least
to
50
try
pictures, I
and
can't
lie
lie.
his way out of it. But that's not the only evidence detectives managed to find along the way.
They
As
found her
there's
car.
mud on the wheels of Prince's car, leading detectives to believe he drove off-road to either kill Edna or to dump her body. And this is
Whoa.
when we arrive at the pivotal moment where Prince's story starts to fall apart.
You're not a bad guy, right? Nobody is saying that you're some evil.
They gonna
twisted dude.
test the mud and see where it's from.
We need to know where it is. We've processed the car. We found the dirt. Where did you go off-road?
I never
Where
went
did
off-road
you
with her.
leave?
Oh, I can tell you exactly where she and I had gone off-road. Please. When we were going from 25 south, there was, off to the right, there was a
This is
truck
100%
with a trailer
cap.
and another vehicle there that had a for sale sign on it. And it looked like an older truck. And I knew it worked.
100%.
And I went ahead and I pulled in and with her, and then we pulled out. And it was right there on 25.
Even in the face of such overwhelming evidence, Prince still denies any wrongdoing and even tries to take control of the situation. But detectives have him cornered, and he's quickly starting to struggle to maintain his composure.
Where's right now? Her family is desperately looking for her.
She's missing right now.
Yes, Dan. Where
You know
is
she's
it?
missing,
I don't have
Dan.
a clue. I dropped her off at her house.
Dan, please listen. You did not drop her off at her house. We have followed that car.
Do y'all think
the entire
Dan
day,
dropped her off at her
up and
house?
Down 25.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
There's
think
a
Dan
number
dropped
of
her off.
minutes that are unaccounted for that are not by her house.
Which car? Mine or hers?
Dan, stop playing games. You know what we're
When I
talking
got, okay, I can help you here.
Okay.
You gotta give me a second. You gotta let me answer the questions when they're asked. When I dropped her vehicle off looking for the guy, she said she wanted me to take her and drive around in my vehicle. So I left her vehicle. I went down to Food Lion and she was in my vehicle with me. And I dropped her off at home.
Dan, we watched
Did
the
you know,
video.
Dan?
She is not.
The car sits there.
It sits there, man.
No, not in her car.
They got camera footage
My
in front of her
car.
house.
I
You
dropped
go
her
back
off
to
in
Food
my car.
Lion. You did not drop anyone off, man.
I picked her back up.
They got a
She sat
camera in
my
front of
car,
her house,
and I
man.
went back and got her.
No, you did not.
The detectives are beginning to apply more pressure on Prince, knowing everything he's telling them is a lie. But he continues to stay on the defense, even trying to brush off the facts that he might have destroyed potential evidence.
I don't know where it is.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Dan.
Let's go back to why you wiped the car down. What you said you were worried about what?
The only thing I did was because I knew I'd been in and out of her car all the time with her. I'm like, there is no way in hell I'm going to just leave this thing here because she's got somebody that's after her.
Prince
What?
tries to deflect suspicion again by suggesting
So, you got out her car. You're like, yo, there's no way I'm gonna leave my fingerprints here because I know she's got somebody after her. Well, man, if you know you're not the one that's after her and you know she's got somebody after her, maybe you should tell her, call the police.
Edna may have been in
Got a
some
few
kind
things
of
we could be
danger,
doing.
but he doesn't realize just how prepared these detectives are.
Who would be after
Who's
her?
after her?
That guy with the truck, she said she didn't trust him.
The PI?
Yeah, that's somebody she hired as a PI.
His story's totally different. He's been doing work for her. I mean,
Oh, they already talked to the
The
PI.
son-in-law thing. I mean, we've interviewed. I mean, he had no, he didn't meet with her instead. So that's
Right, that's why I said she hired another PI. I'm sure you're recording this.
it's not making sense of. I mean, you're the last person to be in a vehicle you wiped out of a lady that's missing.
That sounds really fucked up.
It does. It does. That's why we're here.
I've been real honest with you guys. I told you what was going on.
The detectives managed to get Prince to admit he was with Edna on the day she disappeared. While Prince tried to convince them he was helping her meet a suspicious private investigator, they know it's a desperate attempt to deflect suspicion and distance himself from the crime. Prince insisted he dropped Edna off at her home, safe and well, but the detectives established that he was the last person to see her alive, and because of this interrogation, they locked him into a lie that would eventually lead to a chilling confession. When detectives search Prince's property, they find several automatic weapons. Because of his previous convictions, he's forbidden from owning any firearms. That means he could be facing a federal charge and be detained for even longer. While he's detained, they continue to search his land and find one of the most crucial pieces of evidence yet, a yogurt cup. This is the yogurt he bought shortly before Edna disappeared, and it's laced with a cocktail of drugs: Razapam, Tramadol, and
He bought some yogurt. She was probably like, that was probably yogurt she asked him to buy. She was like, "Yo, I need some yogurt. Can you give me some yogurt?" He went in there, got whatever he needed. Then they had went to her house, I think. Or they went wherever. Oh no, they went back to her house. That man's like, hey, he went into the kitchen first. He went crazy. He went Bill Cosby mode. He's like, hey, here's your yogurt. Here's your yogurt.
Cyclobenzaprine can cause central nervous system depression when they're combined. When this happens, the body's neurological functions slow down. In other words, you're under sedation, exactly as Edna was in the parking lot when she was seen in Prince's car. After feeding her the laced yogurt, there's nothing Edna can do to stop him, and she's led away to her death at the hands of this sadistic killer.
Nah,
Prince begins to realize he's cornered and has nowhere to run, so they bring him back in for more questioning, where he makes a full confession as he admits to 3 more murders, including those of Lee Goodman, Dolores Sellers, and her daughter, Nancy Rigo. The first victim was Dolores. Daniel had euthanized Dolores Sellers at the request of her daughter, Nancy Rigo. However, Nancy began to have second thoughts and wanted to contact the police.
He euthanized some random lady's mother off of her request, and then she's like, "Oh man, I don't think I should. I don't think I should have got him to do that to my mom. I think I might tell the police that I actually got this done to her." And he's like, "Oh no, you're not about to tell the police. You're not about to tell the police nothing." He went crazy. He off the bloodline.
Putting her directly in the crosshairs of Daniel Prince, a mentally disturbed serial killer. Nancy Rigo was now his second victim. Even worse is the fact that for several years, Daniel began receiving Nancy's social security checks because she had given him her power of attorney. Moreover, the search of Daniel's property would also reveal several of Nancy's documents. Since 2017, after her murder, Daniel pretended to be Nancy by sending her family emails and messages in an attempt to prevent them from thinking that she was dead. Daniel's third victim.
Daniel's insane. He unalived her in 2017, and 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. He was doing this for 4 years straight. He was paying the phone bill, texting everybody in the family, telling them, "Oh yeah, sorry, I haven't been there in so long. It's so great out here." This man was just sending messages for 4 years.
Victim was Lee Goodman, who allegedly attempted to rob him, according to Daniel. Much like Nancy and Edna, her body was disposed of in some desolate area. And finally, Daniel's fourth and final victim was Edna Suttles, whose body would be found 1 year later on May 16th, 2022, in a grave close to Daniel's home in Rutherford County. Although decomposed, officers were able to positively identify it as Edna and return the body to to her loved ones. But even in the face of his crimes, he would never let go of his chance to leverage as much information as he could.
There was quite a lot of stuff found in your B house. There could be a million explanations for some of that stuff, and
Bro, I thought he said meat house for a second. He said bee house.
I don't want to jump to conclusions. And if there's something that
Say,
happened
bro,
that
what?
you didn't intend to happen, let's talk about it.
There are things that have to happen, and there are things that are going to happen. And I'm a realist, and I have acceptance with this.
What is he saying right
a little
now?
bit of control in how they happen. If you tell him to turn that off, I will talk to you.
Oh nah, this man is crazy. He just said, "Look, I'm a realist. I like having control of things."
When they turn
How
the
they
cameras
happen.
off, Prince makes a final attempt to take control and influence the outcome in his favor.
What did he
Daniel
do?
Prince avoided a trial by making a deal with authorities. He would tell them about the location of Edna's body, and in turn, his case would go federal because of the better living conditions in federal prisons. Not only that, but he would also avoid the death penalty and instead receive a life sentence. One would think that the detectives were naive to turn off their cameras and not record Daniel's confession, but unbeknownst to Prince, the investigators keep the backup audio recording running after shutting down the camera. This is the chilling confession he made.
They got him on tape.
Let's put it this way. A person I was very good friends with wanted to do something to put someone basically out of their misery that was very closely related to them. That's one
Somebody he knows wanted to do something to unalive somebody that they were close to.
body. That person started having an extreme
That was
amount
talking
of
about
guilt
Edna.
over this.
Oh
and
no,
decided they were
no.
gonna
He's
go
talking. He's talking
for
about the
happened.
other one.
That's the second body. There's a third body that I did not kill, and I knew that they'd be getting Social Security disability for the rest of their life. So I got rid of said bodies, for example, so that I could continue to use the card.
By any chance, while he's getting all this squared away, can you just help me get that closure for Edna's family?
Not until I have this. I clam up like a clam if this doesn't go federal for everything.
Nah, bro. R.I.P. to all those victims. This man David, I feel like he might deserve the penalty, but at least he got life in prison. I don't know, bro. That was a weird situation.